If you are going to leave the lecture, you are refusing to see images and animations. You are refusing to hear. And you are refusing to ask. Now, this is a bad combination. Okay? الله أعطاك عيون حتى تشوف بعدين تسمع تتعلم تسمع. If you are leaving, then you go under the sun and please close the door when you leave. And see you in the final exam. Now, today's subject is very relevant because next year and the years after, you are going to see this common problem. Hernias. If you look at this baby, the scrotum is swollen. That means there is something that has come down and made this swelling. What is this swelling? If you look at this person, you can see that this area here is not the same as this area. There's a swelling here that stops at this point. This is the inguinal region, around the inguinal canal. So there is something wrong here. So we need to know what are the anatomical basis of this wrong thing. It is inguinal hernia, coming from the inguinal canal. Here is another problem. It's around the umbilicus, and last time we studied the anterior abdominal wall, and you should have very good knowledge of the anterior abdominal wall because it has problems. People have problems with anterior abdominal wall. It's called umbilical hernia. What is a hernia? A hernia is a defect. It's a defect that something goes into this defect. Problem is, this something can be small intestine, can be large intestine, can be fat. And we will know why we start to worry about these swellings and defects. This is an adult person where there is protrusion of the umbilicus. Why should this person has this thing? People who have increased intra-abdominal pressure because of chronic cough, chronic severe cough, or problem of the prostate, where the person strains whenever he passes urine, or because of collection of fluid in the abdominal cavity. Now, where there is increased intra-abdominal pressure, the peritoneum, the membrane lining the abdominal cavity, will try to find a weak area. The increased abdominal pressure will push the peritoneum into this weak area, and then part of an organ. And that is a hernia. You look at the abdomen of this person, you may notice that there is a scar. You know what a scar is? Fibrous tissue of an old incision. Here is a scar, and here is a swelling on both sides of the scar. This person had an operation some time ago and because of either bad suturing, bad knowledge of the person suture, or because of increased intra-abdominal pressure, the wound gave way and contents of the abdomen went through the abdominal wall under the skin. So this is called incisional hernia. This is a big incisional hernia. You look at this person had a scar in the epigastric region. This is the umbilical region, and this is epigastric region, and there is a swelling around the wound. So this is an incisional hernia. The original disease was an epigastric hernia. We will see that in a moment. That has failed. When hernias are repaired, sometimes the repair is successful, sometimes it is not. So it recurs, comes back again. And then the second time it's going to be more difficult. This is what we describe in every hernia. A neck. We always ask ourselves, is the neck wide or is it narrow? If it is narrow, we worry about it because it may affect blood supply of the organ, and the organ will be ischemic, and that is an emergency. And we talk about the sac. The sac is the peritoneum due to the increased intra-abdominal pressure that has found a weak area and protruded into it. How big the sac is and what is the sac. And then the contents. What are the contents of this sac or this hernia? These three questions, when you go to year 4 and further on in your life, whenever you see a hernia, you have to answer these questions. What's the situation of the neck? What is the situation of the sac, and what are the contents? You will be hearing these quite frequently. This is the anterior abdominal wall, and last time when we discussed the anterior abdominal wall, normally it is very strong, but sometimes it has weaknesses, and things go out of the abdominal cavity through these weaknesses. If it is in the epigastric area, we call it epigastric hernia. If it is in the umbilicus, we call it umbilical hernia. If there was a previous incision in the abdominal wall and then things went wrong with a swelling around the incision, this is incisional hernia. But then there are at least 3 types of hernia around the inguinal region: direct or indirect or femoral. Where are we now? This is the scrotum and this is the testis. And this is the lateral border of rectus abdominis, lower down. If the swelling that comes out comes to you, your face, this way, This is called direct inguinal hernia. Okay? If it comes to the front. This is a direct inguinal hernia, and you can see that the neck is quite wide. The neck is quite wide. If, when you ask the patient to cough and the swelling goes this way, then this is indirect inguinal hernia through an inguinal canal. Why should I have an inguinal canal? It is made so that the testis comes down to the bottom of the scrotum. Testis is created at the back and should come to the bottom of the scrotum at the moment of birth. And when it reaches the anterior abdominal wall, there is a pathway for it. It's called the inguinal canal. Sometimes it stops at different stages, but normally it should be at the bottom of the scrotum. The inguinal canal has an internal opening a canal which is 4 centimeters long, an external opening, and then goes down the scrotum. The canal is only in the anterior abdominal wall. Here's the internal opening. This is the canal which is parallel to the inguinal ligament, and testis goes down to the bottom of scrotum. This is what makes us concerned. If the canal does not close, it remains open, the intestine will come down, and sometimes it goes back, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes when it doesn't, or it is strangulated, that means it is twisted, or for some reason or another, the blood supply to this loop of intestine is affected, it's going to be ischemic and it's going into necrosis. So we have to act very quickly. People with hernia, sometimes they have it for years, if they are lucky. Some people are not lucky, they have problems with the hernia. You can see that this hernia is not, this is the inguinal canal, and the small intestine is coming down this way. This is what we don't like. This is a narrow space. What we don't like even more is that the appendix is also in the canal. Appendix is a nasty organ, gets inflamed easily. So we need to take a CT scan and see what is inside this sac. These are the 3 layers of the anterior abdominal wall, and you can see that when you ask the patient to cough, the swelling comes obliquely down. This is indirect inguinal hernia. The The difference between direct and indirect inguinal hernia is that the direct is more medial and it bulges towards you. The indirect inguinal hernia goes obliquely down the direction of the scrotum. The structure that separates between the two is the inferior epigastric vessels, arteries and veins. Now, if we want to see the details of the inguinal canal, we have to see the anterior abdominal wall, and we have to see the external oblique muscle, because this external oblique muscle, as it approaches the midline, becomes white or neurotic. Now, the lower end has a special arrangement. This special arrangement is extending from anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle and pubic crest, and it rolls in. It's not a simple end. It's rounded head and rolls in. So it makes the anterior wall and the floor of the inguinal canal. Anterior wall and posterior wall, roof and floor. These are the boundaries of the inguinal canal. If you look at this image, this is the inguinal canal, so inguinal ligament. These are the fibers of external oblique muscle. When they reach the edge, they make the inguinal ligament and they turn in. السهم مقطع. They turn in. And this aponeurosis of external oblique will have a crus, a lateral crus, intercrural fibers and a medial crus. Between them is the external opening of the inguinal canal. There is also another extension. This is triangular structure. Is also an extension of the inguinal canal, inguinal ligament. It's called lacunar ligament. It's a very sharp edge. Again, the external opening of the inguinal canal. Lateral crus, medial crus, intercrural fibers, and this is the inguinal ligament. You see, this external opening is not in the inguinal ligament. It is in the aponeurosis of the external oblique. These are this is one of cadaveric images. The probes are in the external opening of the inguinal canal. This is the medial crus. This is the lateral crus. This is the intercrural fibers on top of the external opening. This is the umbilicus, midline, skin taken off, and this is the external oblique, and this is the inguinal ligament. The lower part of the aponeurosis has an opening of the inguinal canal, external opening of inguinal canal. This diagram is from inside the anterior abdominal wall. not looking at it from outside, looking at it from inside. There is this triangle, this is the rectus abdominis muscle. There is this triangle that is going to be the neck of direct inguinal hernia, and it is wide. It is called Hasselbach triangle. And then you have this inferior epigastric artery and vein. And this is the internal opening of the inguinal canal. This is the vas deferens, and these are the testicular artery and veins. Now let's analyze this image. You know what structure is this? This is the peritoneum of the serous membrane lining the whole of the abdomen. This is the small intestine. This is what? This is fascia transversalis, right? And you can see that structures going down the scrotum are going to pass through this opening in fascia transversalis. So this is fascia transversalis. This muscle, the deepest of the three, is transversus abdominis, right? As it comes towards the midline, it arches over the contents of the spermatic cord. Arches over, and therefore makes the roof of inguinal canal. Then we have this muscle, which is the internal oblique muscle. As it comes down to this area, it also arches over, making also the roof of the inguinal canal. So the question is, what makes the roof of the inguinal canal? The answer is conjoint muscle. Why conjoint? Because under this word it is transversus abdominis and internal oblique. Conjoint muscle. What's the shape of the roof? The answer is arch. An arch. Then we have this muscle, which is the external oblique muscle. At this point, is fleshy. When it becomes upon neurotic, it comes and produces the anterior wall, and as it rolls in, produces the inguinal ligament, and there is an external opening through the aponeurosis of the external oblique. So this is the internal opening. This is the roof made by transversus abdominis. Again, the roof of the inguinal canal made by internal oblique. And then the external opening made by aponeurosis of external oblique. And this is the inguinal canal. This is something now, I'm sure you know, this is the inguinal ligament, the lower end of external oblique. It has two extensions, the lacunar ligament and the pectineal ligament. This is a laparoscopic image of the internal opening, and it is in the case of a female because it's going to contain the round ligament. In case of the round ligament of the uterus, in case of the male, it's going to be containing components of the spermatophore, the vas deferens and testicular arteries and veins. So this is the point where the inguinal canal starts. Where are we? This is the rectus abdominis muscle, and this is the inguinal ligament. These are the femoral arteries and veins, and this swelling is indirect inguinal hernia coming down, and this triangle here is the Hasselbalch triangle, where the direct inguinal hernia comes out. The triangle is made by تسمعين أو تشوفي لك صورة أحسن مما تطلعي خذي راحتك شمس. It's the lateral border of the rectus abdominis, inguinal ligament, inferior epigastric arteries and artery and vein. Again, this is laparoscopic image of indirect inguinal hernia. This is a diagram showing you fascia transversalis with a deep inguinal ring. Now, if you want to build the canal, you have to put the roof, two muscles, transversus abdominis and internal oblique, and what? The anterior wall is aponeurosis of external oblique. This is the internal oblique, the internal opening, and this is the external opening. The roof is an arched conjoint muscle, the transversus abdominis and the internal oblique. You know what kind of hernia is this? This is direct. See, it's rounded and it's not coming this way. When the patient comes towards you. This is something you will be asked about a lot in the very near future. Now, in King Abdullah Hospital, you will see lots of hernia. Lots of hernia. The Hasselbalch triangle, and this is the opening of an direct inguinal hernia. It's usually wide. See, the indirect comes through the inguinal canal and goes down the scrotum. The direct does not go down to the scrotum. This white thing is fascia transversalis. This is the external opening, internal opening of the inguinal canal and contains components of the spermatic cord. Now, the femoral hernia. Femoral hernia has a story, and it's not an easy hernia as the inguinal. The easiest is the direct. Less common strangulation. The inguinal, more incidence of strangulation. Loops come in. Sometimes it's down to the knee. Femoral hernia is inferior to the inguinal ligament. Here it is, say yes, it's inferior to the pubic tubercle, because the indirect is this way towards the pubic tubercle, and the direct is above the pubic tubercle. This is a femoral hernia. It's a huge one. Now, scrotum is not swollen. This is what we fear about any small intestine that goes into the femoral hernia. Now, if you ask why, it is narrow neck. Always remember, neck sac contents. Narrow neck contents are in danger. And as you can see, it ends here, does not extend down. What structure is this? This is inguinal ligament, deep inguinal ring, or internal, external. This is the way of indirect inguinal ligament. Inferior to the inguinal ligament, we have these structures. 1, 2, 3, 4. The most medial part is the lacunar ligament, which is an extension of the inguinal ligament. Now, we have here what we call the femoral sheath. Now, you had the femoral sheath in your cardiovascular system and in the musculoskeletal. The nerve is outside the muscular sheath, but the muscular sheath contains 3 structures. Laterally, femoral artery, femoral vein, and femoral canal. Femoral hernia is going to come down through the femoral canal. Right? Let us see where we are here. That's external oblique muscle. This triangular structure is external opening of the inguinal canal. And this is the inguinal ligament. This is the femoral vein, femoral artery, femoral nerve. This space here is what? This is the femoral canal, which usually contains connective tissue and quite few lymph nodes. And this triangular structure is the lacunar ligament, which is an extension of the inguinal. It makes the medial border of the femoral canal. And this edge here is very, very sharp. يعني إذا تحط إصبعك تعمل هيك على الفيمورال على اللاكيونال ليجامنت edict finger, just like a knife. And that makes things more complicated, more difficult. So we have narrow neck, sharp lacunal ligament. So that's the external opening of the femoral of the inguinal canal. That's the lacunal ligament. This is the femoral sheath. And this is the femoral canal. Increased intra-abdominal pressure will push the lining of the abdominal wall, which is the peritoneum, and probably contents through the femoral canal. Things will come down, and you know what is this red line? I will tell you. This is insertion of a fascia. You remember yesterday's lecture? I will remind you. Abdominal wall has skin, and deep to it is fascia. Fascia has two parts. A fatty layer, which is called Camper's fascia. And deep to it is a membranous fascia called Scarpa's fascia. The fatty Camper's fascia, when it comes down, is continuous with the fat of the thigh. And you remember when there is a trauma to the anterior abdominal wall and there is blood collection, blood will come down over the thigh, and you will be happy because the injury is superficial. The membranous Scarpa's fascia comes down over the inguinal ligament and then attaches to the fascia lata. You know what is fascia lata? The very thick fascia around the thigh, and gets inserted there. Now this red line is insertion of Scarpa's fascia. So the sac of the femoral hernia comes down, it cannot continue going down. The insertion of Scarpa's fascia will stop it. Cannot go down, it will stop it. So what does it do? It turns up again. And this makes things even more difficult. We're afraid that the intestine will come down. Okay, it's difficult, we can deal with it. But when it turns and goes up, that is very much more difficult. Do you know what is this white circle? If this area is covered with fascia lata, there is a part here which has holes, and this yellow arrow indicates long saphenous vein goes into the femoral vein. So what is this circle called? شو مالكم يا شباب؟ شو ماخذين؟ Cribriform fascia. Cribriform fascia. So the femoral hernia comes down, stopped by Scarpa's fascia. Still, if increase its abdominal pressure, goes up and wants to bulge through tubuliform fascia and produces a swelling. This is an early femoral hernia. It's medial to the femoral vein. It's the story again. Femoral artery, femoral vein. This white structure is fascia lata, and you can see the circle is tubuliform fascia. The femoral hernia comes down, hits insertion of scarpus fascia, and turns up towards the inguinal ligament. It takes a scan and see what is the situation. You know where are we now? You know this structure here?
Femur.
Head of femur. Acetabulum. Right? This is part of the head. This is the neck of the femur. This is the greater trochanter. This is the iliac bone. This is pubis symphysis. You go laterally, it's the femoral triangle, femoral vein, femoral artery, femoral nerve. And then there is circular structure medial to the femoral vein. So this is femoral hernia. Are we happy with this? Yes, we are happy, because if we see two of these circles, that means the hernia went down and then went up again. يا هانم اقعدي وشوفي واسمعي. Wow. Right? So this image makes us happy. It's one part of the loop of intestine. This is the umbilicus of a baby. It's bulging. You see, this is the place where the cord comes in and enters the body of the baby. Umbilical cord. And the opening for this umbilical cord should close. Once you clamp the umbilical cord, this cavity is going to close. It doesn't sometimes. So whenever the baby cries, the umbilicus bulges in. There's the risk of small intestine loop goes into the sac. Sometimes the neck is wide. How do we know it's wide? The mother easily pushes the intestine to the abdomen, and the intestine goes easily. We start to worry if this intestine does not go back easily. So the mother has to squeeze the small intestine. That means the neck is narrow. Now then we have to go and prepare it quickly. This is a huge abdomen patient, and there's a swelling here. If you have good shrewd eye, you will notice that the line here is curved, nicely curved, and the line here, as it comes down, makes an extra curve. So there's a swelling here. This swelling is due to a hernia, lateral rectus muscle, called Spagillian hernia. Take a CT scan, and the CT scan shows us that this is the abdomen. These are the three abdominal muscles. This is the rectus abdominis. There's a gap lateral to the rectus abdominis, and there is something coming out. It's not a loop or any. It's not a small intestine or a large intestine. It's featureless. Then, when laparoscopy was done, it proved to be the omentum. You take the omentum out. This is the neck of this hernia. It's called Spagillian hernia. This is a huge one. Lateral to the rectus abdominis muscle. This is a small one. This is a small Spagillian hernia. There's a swelling here in the epigastric region. It's in the midline. This is called an epigastric hernia. This is a large one. It's in the linea alba. You see anterior abdominal wall, rectus sheath, and linea alba, the middle line, has holes where blood vessels go in and out. If the increased intra-abdominal pressure is enough, these holes will be stretched, and once they are stretched, they are what? They are bigger. Then the patient comes and coughs and strains, and for some reason has intra-abdominal pressure. Things get into this hole under the skin. This is called epigastric hernia. It's painful. And in this case, there's an old scar of the abdomen for a previous operation, and then there's a swelling. That means some of the suture gave way, and whenever the patient coughs, or even without coughing, there is a swelling. This is called incisional hernia. Thank you.